talk about the history of video games, there's a couple games that you have to talk about, like Pong, and Pac-Man, and Super Mario Brothers, that really influenced the entire video game industry. And Xevious is one of those titles. Xevious influenced the vertical shooting game genre more than any other game, and is, in my opinion, one of the best video games ever made. And incredibly challenging, frustrating, and enjoyable all at the same time. This game was released in 1982, and has fortunately seen a comeback on Xbox Live. And I think Xbox Live is tremendous, and the Xbox Live Arcade, bringing back the old school games from the 80s and platformers from the 90s. And I can't say enough good things about Xbox Live. Not only does it bring back these great old school games, but it brings them back in high definition. You can play them through your HDMI cable into an HD TV. And it's just tremendous. Xevious is presented in its original native aspect ratio as you would have played it in the arcade, which is like a television side. Probably looks very familiar to those of you who have played games like Raiden, and there's so many games in this genre now. As a general rule, I think they're more popular in Japan than they are over here in the States, and I think that's unfortunate, because I personally like this genre a great deal. It's challenging, it's fun. As you know on this show, I love being the lone, daring starfighter against countless enemies, impossible odds, on a questionable, vague mission that usually doesn't matter anyway, because what's the point of this game is to get through it, to have fun, to rack up points, and to shoot things and watch them blow up. Xevious came out in the arcade in 1982 and has since been seen on game systems like the Atari 7800 and the NES. And in fact, the original Classic Game Room series, we reviewed the Atari 7800 version and a version for the PlayStation, which they
What are you doing?
As you can see from the screen,
yes,
you have two different weapon options. And that's one of the things that makes Xevious unique. For starters here, you have your lasers, your twin cannons, I think they're lasers, maybe they call them something else, and your bombs. So you have to shoot your enemies in the air, and also bomb the enemies on the ground. And they're all shooting at you from different directions, and it's very challenging. What makes this game decidedly different from Raiden 3, for instance, which is one that I recently reviewed, is that you can't power up your weapons to have this arsenal that fills the entire screen with your weaponry. You're basically limited to the two weapons that you start with. So instead of getting that massive, huge shotgun burst of red bullets that most vertical games have, or a special weapon that you can blow up and then eliminate all enemy fire when it's about to kill you, you really have to rely on some serious skill in dodging the enemy fire. Now, I generally forget the story of Xevious. You can find it online, I'm sure. But you do encounter a couple bosses as you continue on in the game. And wave after wave of enemy, the variety of enemies changes on you. And my favorite part of this game, something I've loved since I was a kid and played this on my Atari 7800, is those spinning metal plates that come at you. And at the time, those were just amazing. That kind of graphics in a video game was just unbelievable. Xevious was way ahead of its time. And you can see why it influenced this genre so much. And just these simple things like the little tank boats in the water. You can't just bomb them. You have to actually lead them with your bomb and hope that they run into it. So it requires a lot of skill to hit all the enemies in this and rack up serious points. And with Xbox Live, of course, they give you the added incentive of going for gamer points, which are addictive and a lot of fun to collect for no apparent reason.
After this, then I will read Volcanoes.
The other great thing about Xbox Live, of course, is you can see how your score ranks up against everybody else and friends of yours. What's really incredible about Xevious is that this game came out in '82, and it really doesn't look any different than newer games today.
Throughout history, people have told stories about volcanoes. The Earthworms believe in invoking the god of fire. They thought that Vulcan worked as a hard forge, striking sparks, as made swords, and armor for the upper gods. It is from the Roman god Vulcan, the god to get the word volcano. The early Hawaiians told legends of the wanderings of Pele, regardless of fire. Pele was saved from her homes by her sister Namaka, goddess of the sea. Pele moved constantly from one Hawaiian island to another. Finally, Pele settled. Is Pele a she? Finally, Pele settled in the mountain called Kiwara on the Big Island of Hawaii. Even before the islanders tried to freeze Pele, she burst forth every few years. Hawaii is an active volcano. In early volcano, no one knew how volcanoes formed or they sprouted fire. Among the times, communities began to study volcanoes. They still don't know all the answers, but they know much about how volcano works. Our planet is made up of many layers of rock.
But you cannot just hold down a consistent
Okay,
auto fire.
the top layers of solid rock are called crust. Deep beneath the crust is so hot that some rock melts. Is the melted or molten rock is called magma. Volcanoes are formed by cracks or holes that poke through the Earth's crust. Magma pushes its way up through the cracks. This is called volcanic eruption. When magma pours forth on the surface, it is called lava. The above photograph of an eruption, you see great spouts of big boiling lava flowing from rivers and lakes. As lava cools, it hardens to form rock. Your turn.
A volcano can be two things: a hole in the ground that lava comes through, or a hill or mountain formed by the lava. Mount Rainier in the state of Washington is a volcano, even though it has not erupted since 1882. Not far from Mount Rainier, top right, is Mount St. Helens. Bottom left, Native Americans and early settlers in the Northwest had seen Mount St. Helens puffed out some ashes, steam, and lava in the mid-1800s. Yet for more than a century, the mountain seemed quiet and peaceful. In March 1980, Mount St. Helens awakened from its long sleep. First, there was a few small earthquakes that shook the mountain. Then on March 27, Mount St. Helens began to spout ashes and steam.
I played it for hours and hours and hours.
Each day brought further quakes until by mid-May more than 10,000 small quakes had been recorded.
Never played Xevious before.
The mountain began to swell up and crack. Sunday, May 18th, dawned bright and clear. The mountain seemed much the same as it had been for the past month. Suddenly, at 8:32 a.m., Mount St. Helens erupted with incredible force. The energy released in the eruption was equal to 10 million tons of dynamite.
In your house.
Your turn.
And your wife would come home and be like, "Where's all the furniture?"
The eruption of Mount St. Helens was mostly tragic in the history of the United States. 60 people lost their lives as hot gases, rocks, and ashes covered an area of 230 square miles. Hundreds of houses and cars were destroyed, leaving many people homeless. All the highways, roads, and roadways were badly damaged. The force of eruption was so great that the entire forests were blown down like rows of matchsticks. Compared to the way Mount St. Helens looked before and after the eruption, the top of the mountain was blown away. In space, a huge volcanic crater, and in the 1980s, mountain and the area underwater were designated as Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. Visitors centers allow people to view the volcano's astonishing power.
Volcanoes don't just happen any place. The Earth's crust is broken into huge sections, like a giant cracked eggshell. The pieces of the crust are called plates. The United States, Canada, and Mexico, and part of the North Atlantic Ocean are all on the North American plate. Almost all the volcanoes in the world erupt in places where two places meet. Down the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, two plates are slowly moving apart. Hot magma pushes up between them. A chain of underwater volcanoes runs along the line where the two places meet. Some of the underwater volcanoes have grown so high that they stick up from the ocean floor to make islands.
Excuse me. Wait until 11:33 to stop, then upload the video.
Okay.
Got it.